Some battles are loud, others are invisible. The loud ones test your strength. They're obvious, physical, public. Everyone sees them, everyone judges them, everyone has an opinion about how you should fight. But the silent ones, they test your soul. These are the battles nobody witnesses, the war between discipline and distraction, between patience and reactivity, between staying true to yourself or compromising for comfort. These are the battles that determine who you actually become, not who you appear to be, but who you are when nobody's watching, who you are in the quiet moments, who you are when the only judge is your own conscience. And here's the truth that most people never learn. The silent battles are harder, infinitely harder. Because there's no audience to impress, no applause to motivate you, no trophy at the end, just the quiet satisfaction of knowing you won a war against yourself. The Stoics understood this, they lived it, they taught it. And today, I'm going to show you how they won these invisible wars and how you can too. This is advanced philosophy. This is how you become unbreakable from the inside out. Every day you wake up, there's a war inside you. Not a metaphor, an actual war. Between competing forces, competing desires, competing versions of who you could be. Peace versus panic, purpose versus distraction, love versus ego, discipline versus impulse, growth versus comfort, truth versus convenient lies. Most people don't even know this war is happening. They're unconscious participants in their own life, tossed around by whichever force happens to be strongest in that moment. They're reactive, not responsive, controlled, not commanding. But the Stoics knew. They knew that the greatest victories are never celebrated because no one sees them. What does it look like to win a silent battle? It looks like choosing patience when everything in you wants to snap. It looks like choosing discipline when your bed is warm and your alarm is cruel. It looks like choosing stillness when the world is offering you 1,000 distractions. It looks like this. Someone insults you and you don't take the bait. Someone tries to provoke you and you remain calm. Someone projects their chaos onto you and you refuse to absorb it. That's a victory. A silent, invisible, uncelebrated victory that nobody sees. But it matters more than any public achievement because it's shaping your character. It's building your soul. It's forging who you actually are beneath all the performance. Marcus Aurelius fought actual wars. He commanded armies, conquered territories, defended the Roman Empire from external threats. And yet in his private journal, he wrote about a different kind of warfare. He wrote, "The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts." He understood that the battlefield that matters most is the one between your ears, the war for your attention, the war for your peace, the war for your soul. Epictetus, who spent years as a slave before gaining his freedom and becoming one of history's greatest philosophers, said something even more profound. "You may chain my body, but you cannot chain my mind." His captors controlled everything external. They controlled where he lived, what he did, how he spent his time, but they couldn't control his thoughts, his interpretation, his inner freedom. That's how Stoics win, not by fighting back against external circumstances, but by remaining free internally regardless of what happens externally. This is the secret. This is what most people miss. They're fighting the wrong war. They're trying to control their environment, control other people, control outcomes, and they're losing constantly because you can't control any of those things. But you can control yourself, your thoughts, your reactions, your interpretations, your inner state. That's the war worth winning. That's the battle that actually matters. Let me give you the specific tactics the Stoics used to win these silent battles. These aren't theories, these are practical, daily practices that work. Tactic 1. The morning preparation. Marcus Aurelius would begin every day by mentally preparing for battle, not against enemies, but against his own weaknesses and the chaos of the day ahead.
He wrote, "When you wake up in the morning, tell yourself, the people I deal with today will be meddling, ungrateful, arrogant, dishonest, jealous, and surly." This sounds pessimistic, but it's not. It's strategic preparation. He's not saying the world is terrible. He's saying, don't be surprised by difficulty. Expect it. Prepare for it. So when it comes, you're ready. That's how you win silent battles before they even begin. You prepare mentally. You visualize the challenges. You practice your response in your mind before you need it in reality. Try this tomorrow morning. Before you check your phone, before you consume anything, sit for 2 minutes and think, today will test me. Someone will try to provoke me. Something will go wrong. I will feel tempted to react, to complain, to give up. And when that happens, I will pause. I will breathe. I will choose my response. That's preparation. That's tactical mental warfare. That's how you win before the battle even begins. Tactic 2. The pause before reaction. The Stoics had a practice they called inserting a gap between stimulus and response. Something happens. Someone says something inflammatory. You receive bad news. An obstacle appears. Your first instinct is to react immediately, emotionally, instinctively. Don't. Insert a gap. 3 seconds, 5 seconds, 1 full breath. In that gap, you regain control. Viktor Frankl, the Holocaust survivor who studied Stoic philosophy, said, "Between stimulus and response, there is a space. In that space is our power to choose our response. In our response lies our growth and our freedom." That space is everything. That's where silent battles are won or lost. The reactive person doesn't have that space. Something happens, they explode. Someone pushes their button, they retaliate. They're controlled by every external event. The Stoic person creates that space. They feel the stimulus, yes. They feel the anger, the frustration, the hurt, but they don't act on it. They observe it. They choose whether to act on it. This week, practice this. Every time something triggers you, count to 5 before you respond. Watch how much power returns to you in that pause. Tactic 3. The dichotomy of control. This is the foundational Stoic principle, and it's how they won every silent battle. Epictetus taught it simply. Some things are up to us, and some things are not up to us. What's up to you? Your thoughts, your interpretations, your values, your efforts, your responses, your character. What's not up to you? Everything else. Other people's opinions, the weather, the economy, the past, most outcomes, other people's behavior. The Stoics focused exclusively on what was up to them. They didn't waste energy trying to control what they couldn't control, and in doing so, they became internally invincible. You cannot control whether someone respects you, but you can control whether you respect yourself. You cannot control whether you get the opportunity, but you can control whether you're prepared when it comes. You cannot control the outcome, but you can control the effort. This is how you win silent battles. You stop fighting the wrong war. You stop trying to control the uncontrollable. You focus all your energy on the one territory you actually have sovereignty over, yourself. Tactic 4. Negative visualization. The Stoics had a practice that seems dark at first, but is actually liberating. They would regularly visualize loss. They'd imagine losing their wealth, their status, their health, the people they loved, not out of pessimism, but out of preparation. Why? Because when you've mentally prepared for loss, it can't shock you. It can't break you. You've already processed it. You've already found your strength in its absence. Seneca wrote, "Set aside a certain number of days during which you shall be content with the scantiest and cheapest fare, so that you may come to know whether you have anything really to fear from poverty." He would practice poverty deliberately, so he knew he could survive it, so he wasn't controlled by the fear of it. You can do this with anything. Spend a day without your phone, fast for a day, sit in discomfort. Experience small versions of what you fear, so the fear loses its power. This is tactical preparation for silent battles. You're building resilience before you need it. Tactic 5. Evening reflection. The Stoics ended every day with a practice called evening examination or daily reckoning. Seneca would sit at the end of the day and ask himself, what bad habit have I cured today? What fault have I resisted? In what respect am I better? He wasn't judging himself harshly. He was reviewing the day like a coach reviews game tape. What went well? Where did I succeed? Where did I fail? What can I do better tomorrow? This is how you build momentum in invisible warfare. This is how you get better at winning the battles nobody sees. Let me give you real examples of how Stoics won silent battles, so you can see this isn't just philosophy, it's practical. Marcus Aurelius and the burden of empire. Marcus Aurelius didn't want to be emperor. He was a philosopher who loved books, study, contemplation. But duty called, and he spent most of his reign dealing with wars, plagues, political chaos, and betrayal. Every day was a test. Every day someone tested his patience, challenged his authority, or created problems he had to solve. And every night he sat alone and wrote in his journal. Not for publication, not for glory, just for himself. He was fighting the silent battle against bitterness, against ego, against the temptation to abuse his power. He wrote, "Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be one." That's a man winning silent battles. He's not performing goodness for others to see. He's practicing it in private, in his thoughts, in his journal, in his inner fortress where nobody can judge or applaud.
Epictetus was born into slavery. His master was cruel, abusive. One day he twisted his leg so badly that Epictetus was permanently lame for the rest of his life. What silent battle did he face? The battle against bitterness, against victimhood, against using his circumstances as an excuse. He could have spent his life angry, resentful, broken. Instead, he studied philosophy. He developed a mind so powerful that when he finally gained his freedom, he became one of the most influential teachers in history. He said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." That's the ultimate silent victory. His body was broken, but his mind remained free. His circumstances were unjust, but his inner state was sovereign. Seneca and the Exile. Seneca was a wealthy, influential Roman statesman. At the height of his power, he was exiled, stripped of everything, sent to a remote island, alone, disgraced. What silent battle did he face? The battle against despair, against defining himself by his external status, against losing his sense of purpose. Instead of breaking, he wrote. Some of his most profound letters were written during exile. He used the forced solitude to deepen his philosophy, to strengthen his mind, to become more himself. When he was eventually allowed to return, he came back stronger, wiser, more grounded than before. The exile that was meant to break him instead refined him. He wrote during that time, "Wherever there is a human being, there is an opportunity for kindness." That's a man winning a silent battle, choosing growth over bitterness, choosing philosophy over despair. Now, let's talk about your silent battles, the ones you're fighting right now. Maybe it's the battle to get out of bed when your alarm goes off. That's a silent battle between discipline and comfort. Every morning you're either winning or losing that war.
Maybe it's the battle not to check your phone every 5 minutes. That's a silent battle between presence and distraction. Every moment of focus is a victory. Maybe it's the battle to respond with patience when someone tests you. That's a silent battle between reactivity and self-control. Every time you pause instead of explode, you win. Maybe it's the battle to keep going when nobody's watching, nobody's supporting, nobody cares. That's a silent battle between purpose and approval seeking. Every day you show up anyway, you're building unshakable strength. These battles don't make headlines. Nobody posts about them on social media. There's no award ceremony for the person who conquered their own impatience, their own laziness, their own ego. But these are the battles that determine your life. These are the wars that build your character. These are the victories that actually matter. The next time someone attacks your peace, tests your patience, tries to drag you into their drama, remember this: you don't need to fight back. You don't need to prove anything. You don't need to be right. You need to remain calm. That's your victory. When they're spinning out, you're still. When they're reactive, you're responsive. When they're emotional, you're observant. That's how Stoics win, not by fighting harder, but by standing still while others fall apart. You don't need applause for your inner battles. The calm you carry is proof you've already won. Think about the people you respect most, the ones with unshakable presence, the ones who remain grounded no matter what chaos surrounds them, the ones who embody peace. They didn't get that way by accident. They got that way by winning 10,000 silent battles. Every day, every moment, choosing discipline over impulse, choosing patience over reactivity, choosing self-control over external validation. That's the proof. That's the evidence. Not a trophy on their shelf, not a post on their feed, but the undeniable calm they carry, the sovereignty they embody, the strength that radiates from their center. You can have that too, but not through loud victories, through silent ones, through the daily discipline of choosing who you're becoming over who you've been. If you've fought silent wars lately, if you've won victories nobody saw, if you're building strength in invisible ways, comment below. Peace is victory. And subscribe to Mind Armor, because we fight differently here. We don't chase external victories. We build internal fortresses. This is how you win the wars that matter. Silently, consistently, internally. The world celebrates loud winners, but history is made by quiet warriors. Fight the battles nobody sees. Win the wars that matter.